Hello, everyone. Welcome to the All Day Football Show. I'm your host, Jackson Kellogg, and today we're doing NFL Power Rankings Conference Championship Edition. We're on the Conference Championships of the NFL playoffs. 4 teams remain, only one can win. We will find out the winner in about 3 weeks. So, jumping right into it. So, these Power Rankings are going to include all the teams that played in the divisional round, the ones that won, as well as the ones that lost. Starting at number 8, the LA Rams, they were at 8 going into the divisional round, and they could not overcome a very good Packers team as they fell short in the game. Jared Goff, though he looked better than he did in the game against the Seahawks, you could still tell that they weren't up to snuff. The Packers are just a very difficult team to beat, and the Rams weren't able to get it done. The defense was the main factor in their loss, as the defense just couldn't stop Aaron Rodgers, as Aaron Rodgers and the Packers were able to throw for numerous numbers on the Rams, and they just simply couldn't stop it. So the Rams, they have something good to build on going forward. This offseason is going to be a little difficult with money constraints and a low salary cap. So this team will be a little difficult to keep together, but their best players are still on the roster. So as long as they can get younger, cheaper youth to build around them, this team will still come back and compete in the playoffs next year. At number 7, the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens put up a good fight against the Bills, but the game for the Ravens was that it was going to come down to which team played better defense. And in the end, the Ravens' defense didn't do as good of a job. The Bills' defense was the one that took over and won the game. Lamar Jackson did have to leave this game for a bit in a time where it mattered, which left Tyler Huntley, who was the 4th quarterback on the roster, behind Lamar Jackson, RG3, who is now just cut, as well as Mark Ingram, and Trace McSorley. So Huntley went in, tried to win the game, and showed that he probably won't be a quarterback in this league, as at one point where Marquise Brown was wide open on a streak down the sideline, he overthrew him by a long shot. It was just a terrible throw, and the Ravens fall short. The Madden curse strikes again, as Lamar Jackson though he won in the first round in the wild card, he could not pull through in the divisional round, and then ended up getting hurt during the game as well. So we'll see if Lamar Jackson can recover and if the Madden curse just lasts on him for this year. The Ravens are trying to make some moves to get cheaper. They have a lot of defensive moves they're going to have to make in the offseason, as 4 out of their top 5 edge rushers are free agents, which include Yannick Ngakoue and Matthew Judon. So they're going to have to sign at least one of them, but the rest might end up walking, and we'll see how this offseason goes for the Ravens, if they can keep the defense up to snuff, or if it's going to fall behind and the offense is going to have to pick it up next year. At number 6, the New Orleans Saints. My Super Bowl pick has fallen. The New Orleans Saints lost pretty badly in terms of play to the Buccaneers. The Saints just really had a hard time getting anything going on offense. The Buccaneers defense was able to shut down Michael Thomas, who did not record a single catch on the day, which left Drew Brees to have to work with his other receivers in the running game, and the Buccaneers having the number 1 running defense kind of made that an issue for the Saints, as the Saints had a lot of trouble getting stuff going. They couldn't have their run game wasn't going, which messed up the passing attack. And Drew Brees was playing through a plethora of injuries, as we found out from his wife not too long ago. And with the reason Drew Brees probably played through all those injuries is because he knew it was his last go. I would be shocked if Drew Brees comes back to play another year. And if he does, the team isn't going to be very good. The team, I think, needs Brees to retire to help with their cap issues. There's so many cap casualties that are going to have to occur. Many players are going to have to get extensions, restructures, cut, and part of that is going to have to include Drew Brees retiring, who will take about $25 million in cap off off of their salary cap for next year, as the Saints are currently over $100 million over the cap with the $170 million floor of cap space for the 2021 season. So the Saints team is going to look very different next year and for the years to come, and I honestly don't think it's going to be very good. I think this Saints team is going to have to get rid of a lot of talent, and it's going to come at the cost of having a few very bad seasons. At number 5, the Cleveland Browns. The Browns lost, but I moved them up 2 slots because they proved that no matter who's playing in the game, that they can show up and compete. Yes, Mahomes was out for a good chunk of the game later in the game, and Chad Henne brought the Chiefs to victory. But this Browns team, they came to compete, and they competed all the way down to the last play. And you have to give the Browns props for that. Playing a Chiefs team that boasts receiving talents like Tyreek Hill, who's one of the fastest players in the league, Travis Kelce, who's the best tight end. You've got Sammy Watkins, who wasn't playing, but still they had Mecole Hardman, Demarcus Robinson. The Chiefs had talent out there on that field, and the Browns were able to keep themselves in the game. Between Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt running back and forth, the Browns played their game, but the Chiefs were just the better team. But good for the Browns for showing up, competing, and this Browns team honestly looks like a very good team and one that could possibly go compete for a Super Bowl in the next few years. Getting into teams that won this weekend, we have last weekend, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who stomped on the Saints, forcing 3 turnovers defensively, or actually 4. It was either 4 or 5 turnovers. Breeze threw 3 interceptions, but Jared Cook had a fumble. It was just a very good game for the Buccaneers defense, who has been inconsistent to say the least this year. Their floor is like an average defense, but their ceiling is one of the if not the best defenses in the league, and they've shown it time and time again. So it's going to come down to if the Buccaneers defense, which one is going to show up to the Packers. Because if it's the defense that shut down the Packers for only 10 points in their regular season game, then the Buccaneers have a real shot at winning this game. But if it's the inconsistent one that's been average at times across the season, then you might very well see Aaron Rodgers torch the defense, just like it did to the Rams. Between the Buccaneers and the Rams, they boast the best defenses in the league, and Aaron Rodgers just lit up one of them. Pissed off Aaron Rodgers is no joke, and he's going to welcome the Buccaneers to the very cold, possibly snowing Lambeau Field with open arms because he's going to want to go win a Super Bowl. Being a Patriots fan, I have mixed feelings about Brady winning another. I wouldn't mind him winning his 7th, if it meant that the media wasn't just going to run down on the Patriots, and that's exactly what's going to happen if Brady wins another. If Brady wins another, they're just going to the media is going to be all over the fact that the Patriots couldn't do it without Brady, and Brady did it without Belichick, and blah, 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 blah. So, as much as I want Brady to win it, I don't want the negative effects happening on my team. So, if the Buccaneers win it, congratulations, Bucs, congratulations, Brady. But not necessarily rooting for them to win. At number 3, the Buffalo Bills. The Bills played a very tough opponent in the Ravens. The Ravens in the playoffs are generally a very good team. They haven't been that powerhouse in the playoffs that they used to be. But under John Harbaugh, they are a very good team. No matter where they are in the playoffs, they compete and they play hard. And the Bills just showed that they can do the same, as they played tough defensive football against those Ravens. They only won 17-3, and one of those touchdowns came from a 102-yard pick six from Teron Johnson. So that was not going to lie, I watched that game live. I called that pick six happening. I said at some point there's going to be a 100-yard pick six in the game. So that was a really crazy moment when that happened. Had some Bills fans over. They were ecstatic. It's crazy being a Patriots fan and seeing what other teams do it. So watching Bills fans, seeing their team compete, uh, saying that this is the most important game they've had in 25 years. You know, the stress that most teams that make the playoffs every year, they compete, they go to Super Bowls all the time. You get used to it. The Patriots, for my age, I haven't seen a year where the Patriots weren't bad. So this was my first year seeing a Patriots losing record. So then comparing that to adults who haven't seen a good Bills team in multiple decades, it's just good to see. Even if they are a division rival, it's very pleasing to see this for the Bills. And they showed up, and they're going to go into Kansas City and compete against the best team in the league and see if they can knock off the Chiefs, whether they're led by Mahomes or not. And it's going to come down to which Josh Allen is going to show up. Are we going to get the Josh Allen that's been here all year, that's been dominating? Or is Josh Allen going to do what he started to do in the Ravens game, is starting to fall to his former self, being inconsistent, inaccurate, and choking when it matters? So Josh Allen's got to really pick it up if the Bills are going to win this game. At number 2, the number 1 seed in the NFC, the Green Bay Packers are going to be welcoming the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to Lambeau Field after dominating the Rams at home. For a Rams defense that was a top 3 defense, one of the best in the league, Aaron Rodgers destroyed it. Devontae Adams kicked butt, and the rest of the receivers did what they needed to between Lazard and Valdez-Scantling. That's exactly what the Packers need if they're going to win the Super Bowl. They need their secondary receivers to step up to the plate when it matters, and that's exactly what they did against the Rams. So as long as they can do that now against the Buccaneers, and if they win this game against whoever they play in the Super Bowl, whether the Bills or the Chiefs, they're going to need it because all 3 of those teams boast very good secondaries. Whether you've got Jameel Dean, Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Antoine Winfield for the Bucs. And then you look at the Bills, you've got Tre'Davious White, who's going to be locked down on Devontae Adams. You've got Levi Wallace, Josh Norman, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer in that Bills secondary. And the Chiefs, you're looking at Rashad Fenton, L'Jarius Sneed, Tyrann Mathieu, Kyle Fuller, or not Kyle Fuller. He went to the Washington. But the point is, all these teams boast very good secondaries. And if the Packers are going to win, those secondary receivers have to step up, as well as that defense. The defense needs to be able to shut down these high-powered offenses that they're playing and get the stops that they need. Because if the Packers' defense starts to let up, then it's going to turn into a shootout. And I don't know how this Rodgers-led offense, though they are high-scoring, if they can go win shootouts. But we'll see. And at number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes is still in concussion protocol and is still questionable for their game against the Bills. If Mahomes is not playing, then I think it's going to be very scary for the Chiefs. Yes, they won with a quarter of Chad Henne, but I don't know if they're going to be able to win 4 quarters with Chad Henne. If Mahomes is playing, then it's going to be a very good matchup between the two teams, as they both boast high-powered offenses with very good defenses that when they come to play, they're shut-down defenses. And this is fun, being able to enjoy games in the playoffs, not having to specifically root for a team. My team didn't even make the playoffs. The team I was rooting to win the Super Bowl just got knocked out. So now I have no stake in this Super Bowl, so I can enjoy the games and watch these great teams compete and battle it out for a Super Bowl. And right now I'm thinking the Chiefs might be the one to take it in back-to-back, but they're going to have to come out and beat this scary Bills team that really wants to show up and go to their first Super Bowl in over 2 decades. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Would be greatly appreciated. Hope you all enjoyed. Game picks will be coming out sometime over the weekend before games start. Hope you all have a great conference championship weekend. And let's hope that these Patriots of ours can get back to these playoffs next year, do what they need to do in the offseason so that the Bills aren't the ones playing the Chiefs, the Patriots are.